Hey, what's up guys? Tyler here with Secureteam. Well, we did it. Just about 24 hours ago, at about, 4 or 5 in the morning, we surpassed 1 million subscribers. This was such an amazing thing to me, and I wanted to keep a record of it, so I went over to Social Blade and recorded the live feed, subscriber feed, as well as the recording, and just painstakingly, subscriber by subscriber, watched my YouTube ticker box here, which I've featured in past videos. This actually gives me a live view of how many subs I have, whether I lose a sub or gain a sub. And I swear, this thing would get to 999,998 subs and then go down. Alright, I'd lose a sub. Then it'd go back up again. And I was literally just one sub away from hitting 1 million, and it went on like this for like 5 minutes straight while I was recording it, and to the point where I was just like yelling at this thing to hit 1 million. But finally, as you guys just saw, we hit it. I was extremely excited. I think I like screamed to the top of my lungs or something, but I don't know. I was extremely happy. So we are at 1 million. We're actually at 1,001,000 subscribers, I think, at this point. So we continue to gain viewers, and I just wanted to tell you guys how happy I am, how humbled and just proud of this amazing thing. This is all because of you guys. And, you're all wonderful people. You're all good people. And I'm happy that you take time out of your days to come and watch me ramble about different things, as we, kind of stumble through this research, trying to get to the bottom of things. And, and that's what it's all about. And I really do my best to do that. I'm not always right. I'm not always wrong. But damn it if I don't try. And, I'm addicted to this research. So again, thank all of you guys. And we're going to keep going. So with that, before we get to the main topic of today's video, something very strange occurring during the massive Hurricane Harvey over southeast Texas, I want to discuss another breaking story about what's being called a mystery haze or mist that basically engulfed a beach in England, sending hundreds of people to the hospital. And as of right now, they don't know what it is. So this was reported here by the BBC, Burling Gap Beach, 100 treated after chemical mist. Burling Gap Beach was evacuated on Sunday after people reported breathing difficulties, stinging eyes, and vomiting when a mist appeared. Eastbourne District General Hospital says that it treated 133 people. Investigations were underway into the cause of the chemical haze, which is currently unknown. The force said it believed it came from the sea. Previous incidents have involved something coming over from an industrial unit in France, but this has yet to be confirmed. However, East Sussex Fire and Rescue Service said, quote, "It was extremely unlikely that this time it was chlorine, which has happened in the past." The police said that the effects, while uncomfortable, were not serious. A police spokesman said that the first report came in just before 5 o'clock, where up to 50 people had been affected by irritation to eyes and throats. The first reports were from Burling Gap, but the plume of gas or mist moved eastwards along the coast as far as Brexhill. And so as of Sunday night, about 133 patients were being, quote, decontaminated at the hospital. Coast Guard rescue teams from Burling Gap, Eastbourne, Bexhill, and New Haven raced to help clear the busy beaches as visitors feared that they had been struck by a chlorine leak. Kyle Crickmore, who was at the Burling Gap beach, and his family said it emptied in about 10 minutes after people began to feel unwell. He described how a foggy haze rolled in from the ocean out of nowhere, and that it was definitely out of the ordinary considering it was a nice, clear, sunny day 10 minutes beforehand. He said that the beach emptied in about 10 minutes, which was quite staggering considering the amount of people that were there. And so people living along the coast have been advised to keep windows and doors shut since the incident. And so they're continuing to monitor the situation. But they believe that this is an isolated incident and not expected to reoccur, even though they have no idea what happened. So yeah, very interesting, and I wanted to post about this because we have a ton of viewers from all over the UK, had to have been near this, or maybe could give us some more info, or maybe just tell us your opinion of what happened. So yeah, strange mist rolls in from the ocean on a beautiful day. People being treated and decontaminated. Strange stuff. If you guys have any info, let me know. Now, on to the main topic of today's video. A lot of damage and destruction happening down in southeast Texas. Hurricane Harvey, as I'm sure most of you know, has in its wake brung devastation, flooding, and my heart just goes out to all of the people down there. And, you know, these things happen. You live down on a coastal part of the United States, you're bound at least one time in your life to be hit by a hurricane. But of course, some of the more suspicious people out there believe that this hurricane at least, and possibly other hurricanes and storms in the past, have a more nefarious source behind them. And of course, we're talking about weather modification and or manipulation, with some calling out the government with accusations that this hurricane was either created or at the very least partly modified or seeded so that it would become more powerful. And a lot of them are pointing to a specific point in the satellite imagery of the storm. And so as I'm letting this footage play, you can see the eye of the storm right here, just about to pass over the Texas line from the Gulf with Mexico here on the left. And if you guys haven't noticed it yet, there's a portion in the footage here where it was pointed out it looks like something is actually sent up, an object, if you will, into the atmosphere that either explodes or disperses, creating this very strange sort of U or, massive horseshoe type shape. After which we see the storm and a bunch of these rogue clouds appear, and the whole thing just gets way more massive. And so I'm circling the anomaly here, and I'll loop it over. Okay, and look at this massive cloud that appears out of nowhere, which then takes the shape of a horseshoe. It's the best way I could describe it. Right after, we see a point of light, which some people are saying are an object that had detonated in the atmosphere. It appears directly in the center of this strangely shaped horseshoe cloud as it disperses. And I'll go ahead and zoom in here, and we'll just go ahead and pause it right after the cloud appears. You can see the object in the center of it. And, I do have to say, it does look very anomalous. I've never quite seen something like this before. And as we play it zoomed in here, frame by frame, it does kind of look like, at the very least, something strange happened here. Whether this is something that detonated, whether there is some sort of modification happening here, I don't know. I'm just telling you what has been brought to my attention, but this was pointed out, and it's been pointed out by a few people. People have been emailing me about it, and they've also pointed out that just before this anomaly appears, you can see this massive hole in the storm here that, again, was also kind of strange. There's a total clearing, whereas the rest of the storm, everything's covered in clouds, but we have this giant hole covering almost this entire part of Mexico here. And so the horseshoe appears, the object inside of it appears, and then looks to disperse. And then right after that, we see what appears to be hundreds, if not thousands, of these lone clouds that appear in a massive cluster, filling up this, once empty massive hole over Mexico, obviously causing the storm to grow that much more powerful. And so, yeah, could this be some sort of modification or manipulation? Which, obviously, if true, would show us the links that the government would go to and has gone to in the past to test things like this on an unsuspecting public. They've done this countless times, whether we're talking about weather manipulation and HARP, to the particle smasher and accelerator over in Switzerland, to the illegal experiments that were done on unsuspecting people as a part of Project MK Ultra, where they literally snatched people up off of the street and ran experiments on them, injected them, and, we know for a fact that the government has been testing the weather and modifying it for some time now. And, usually a lot of the times when they'll do this, sometimes they won't tell anybody, and sometimes they will very quietly admit that they're going to be performing a weather modification test. One perfect example was in January of 2016, where instead of hosting a press conference or notifying the public in a way to where they would actually know what was going on, the government instead released their notice of intent on page 11 of the Pasadena Star Classified section, announcing their plans to carry out weather modification in Los Angeles County. Obviously, the appropriate area of the paper to release such a controversial topic, where it was no doubt noticed by absolutely no one. And lest we forget, the government vehemently denied the accusation of weather manipulation up until just a few years ago. And it is a fact that they are using ground-based equipment that is used to, quote, disperse silver iodide particles into suitable storm clouds that have been developed both for initiating and suspending weather modification activities. And you know, while we're on the subject of this and our previous story about this mystery chemical haze, you guys know what the effect of silver iodide can have in the atmosphere and on people? Well, according to the hazardous identification chart, as it pertains to silver iodide, the potential acute health effects: irritation of the skin and eyes, along with a further danger of inhalation. So, you know, I'll leave that there. Very similar to the effects that were just seen over the beach in England. So, you know, not saying they're related, but just putting that out there. Does this horseshoe anomaly, you know, especially it's a cloud, does it seem strange to you? Does the object in the center appearing seem strange? And do all of these rogue clouds, these clusters appearing directly after, seem strange? You guys tell me what you think. Thanks again for stopping by, and stay tuned because I've got much more coming. Stay safe, guys.